Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let's take a detailed look at using pie charts in numbers. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 1,000 supporters. Go to MACMOST.com/Patreon. There you could read more about the Patreon campaign, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. Now, pie charts are great to use in numbers because they don't take a lot of data to create. All you really need are 2 or more numbers and you can have a pie chart. They're also easy for people to understand and they look really good. It's better than looking at a wall of numbers. So for instance, here's a simple table that just has some basic sales data in it. You can turn this easily into a pie chart. Just select the numbers. I'm just going to select these here, but I could also have selected the entire table. And now I'm going to click Chart, and now with 2D selected at the top, I'm going to click here to create a pie chart. And I've got this pie chart right here. Let me move it next to the table. Now right off the bat it looks pretty good, but there are a ton of ways we can customize it. In the Format sidebar under Chart you can customize the colors picking some pre-made color palettes here. Now I've got a bunch of chart options. You could have a title on or off and then you could click and select the title and change it. You've got the legend here which gives you the colors and the rows that they match. You could turn that on and off. You can have a caption below and you can customize that. You can change the font used. So I could change it to something else or make it bigger or smaller, and it applies to the whole chart. Change the style. I can also change the chart colors by clicking here, and you can see I get more options than the styles that are just there. So I've got all of these and I can choose images or textures and really make the chart look good without having to do much extra work. There are actually a ton of different textures that you can use here. Now if we go to Wedges, this is where you can really do a lot. So here we can decide whether or not we see values or names. So I can have the name of each one there, making this legend here unnecessary. And I could just have the names if I want. Now I could also do the data value format. So here it's percentage by default, but I could have it show the actual numbers if I want. And I could add some text before or text after the numbers. I could change the label options. Let's switch this to data point names and I'm going to use distance from center, and you can see I could bring it closer to the center or further away, and if I bring it out you can see the text color actually changes to be black over the white there so it doesn't become invisible. And you can see lines form. I could turn off the lines. I can make the line straight or angled, which is this nice effect right here. And I can change the thickness of the line, the type of line, the color of the line, even have endpoints like for instance arrows pointing to each individual one. Now you can also change wedge position, so you can change distance from center. So you can break these apart like that, which looks fine if you do it for all, but I'm going to show you how to do it for each individual wedge in a second. An important one to know here is the rotation angle, because this starts here with bananas and then goes to the right. You get something that has a divider line right here at the top. But what if you wanted to have it rotate somewhere else, like have bananas take up the top area there like that. So you can set the rotation angle to whatever you want. Now you can change these wedge options for individual wedges. So for instance I can click here and I've just chosen this one wedge. So now you can see under Format Wedge I still have all of these options. So I can have the value for this one item here. I could have the distance from center for the label here, so I can have this pop out like that with a leader line if I wanted to. I could have the wedge position distance from center change, so I can have this one wedge come out like that to emphasize that this is the wedge that I want people looking at this chart to pay attention to. And note I can select multiple wedges, so I can select this wedge here and then I'm going to hold the Command key down and select these other wedges, and I can take away the data point names like that. So I can just have this one label here. Now if you want to change the color of a wedge you can select the wedge and you can go to Style, and then here you've got the fill, and you can change the fill for this individual wedge. So for instance I can make this one black like that. So you really can customize the wedges to be exactly the colors that you want. You could even set a stroke around it, so I can make this say a red border, a few points like that. So if you use numbers a lot and you think you might want to use pie charts, what I encourage you to do is to create a sample chart like this and then play around with all of these different values. Try doing different things with each wedge. Try doing different things with the text, with all of the different options. Learn how to do it now. And if you find you need to create a pie chart, you won't be trying things out right there on the spot, but you already know how to get the result you want. Now I want to show you a few more tips. One of them is using a chart like this. You'll see that pie charts are pretty smart. If you have all of this data here, but you just want to have these three items here, the sums of all the sales for each of these products, you can create a pie chart with that by just selecting these three cells. Go to Chart, and notice it uses the three cells you have selected. It even gets the column names, and if you go to Wedges and say Data Point Names, you can see it understands that you are using the sums here of these three columns and will set everything up appropriately. Now the next thing I want to show you is what if you have a pie chart like this where some of the items are really small slices like that. And you can see the pie chart looks pretty ugly. You can't really tell what these are. They kind of all mash together. What you would normally see in a professionally made pie chart is these grouped together and just showing other. You can do that with pie charts pretty easily. So first I want to make sure that I've sorted everything here so that it is descending, so the largest slice is first and all of the small slices are grouped together. Now I'm going to select the smallest slices like that one and then hit the delete key to delete it from the pie chart. I'm going to delete this one as well, but this is the one I want to use to represent all three. So with this one selected, I'm going to go to Format Wedge, and you can see under Data it says Value. What I could do here is I could actually go in to edit it, and then I've got the pears one there. So I'll do plus and then apples plus peaches. And now when I hit return, you can see this slice now includes all three of those added together. In addition, I could change the name. So I'm going to go in here and delete that, which is basically just showing the word pears from this cell. And I'm going to use a double quote and then type other and another double quote. And now I've changed this to say whatever I want, in this case other. So now I've got these three slices here and this other slice, and this other slice represents the sum of these three. Now if you really want your pie chart to stand out, instead of using a 2D pie chart, you can use a 3D pie chart. You can create a 3D pie chart by clicking on 3D at the top of the chart creation menu there and then choosing the 3D pie chart. You can convert an existing 2D pie chart by just going to Format Chart and changing the chart type to 3D pie. And then it changes to a pie chart. All of the things I showed you before work the same. You can go in and change an individual wedge and set colors and all of that. But in addition, when you just select it, you've got this 3D manipulator here in the middle. Click and just drag around. You also have under Format Chart here a 3D Scene section. So you can see here you can do chart depth like that. You can select a different lighting style if you want. You can have bevels for each individual wedge there. So you can make your pie chart look even more interesting by using a 3D one instead of a 2D chart. Now I do want to point out there is a close relative to the pie chart called the donut chart. So I'm going to go to Format Chart with the chart selected. I'm going to switch this one to a 2D donut, but I could have just created one from the beginning. And what this makes is a chart that looks a lot like a pie chart but with the middle cut out. And I still have a lot of the same things. It's called segments instead of wedges, but you still have all the same controls. And I can maybe bring these out or even bring the names inside. Another reason people like to use donut charts is sometimes they like to put an image in the middle. So you could take, say, a shape and you can put that right there like that, or a picture of something. People like to do that and it makes it easier to see, especially if there's several donut charts, which chart is which. So I hope you found this look at using pie charts and numbers useful. Keep in mind you can also do pie charts in Pages and in Keynote as well. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.